We are live once again. Historic Sim Racing Organization presents Round 5 of the 1991 Formula One season, Grand Prix Molson du Canada from Montreal. I am Jason White. I will be your commentator for this race, and I am joined by Alberto Ibañez. Alberto, good evening.
Good evening, guys. Pleased to be here again.
So here we are at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal. Actually, one thing I'd like to point out right off the bat, Alberto, I mean, this is 2017, and it just occurred to me, I mean, we're at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and that is, of course, named for Canadian Formula One hero Gilles Villeneuve, and 40 years ago this year, Gilles Villeneuve made his Formula One debut.
Well, that's a nice coincidence.
Yeah, and on your screen now is a picture of him driving a McLaren, number 40. That was the car that he drove his first F1 race in after he was discovered by James Hunt. James Hunt was soundly beaten by Gilles Villeneuve in a Formula Atlantic race, and Hunt got on the phone back to England and said, "You guys got to give this guy a test." And he drove in the British Grand Prix, had a pretty decent result. Then he got snapped up by Ferrari right after that. And then, of course, everyone knows in 1978, the following year, he won his first race on this track in the rain, driving a Ferrari. And following...
Right, everybody remembers Gilles from the Ferrari, but it's true that he started in McLaren.
Yep. So the cars are going through their warm-up session right now. Let's see how much time we have. About 5 minutes. So it's probably a good idea to go through the point standings right now. Driver's points. David Jakes has got a perfect 40 points, and Michael Janek is in second place with 10. Then we have Mick Chapman with 9. David Yunt, the super sub, with 8. And then Greg Wassin, Raul Ureb, and Pascal Mikola tied with 6. Constructor points, McLaren is in the lead with 36. Ferrari and Jordan are now tied with 10. That 10 points coming from David Jakes' last win. Then Benetton and Lola are tied with 9. Dallara, Lotus, and Williams are tied with 6. The track itself, as we mentioned, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, 69 laps. It's a track that's very quick, but has it demands a lot of precision, I would think, from the drivers, Alberto, because these chicanes are very quick, most of them.
Yeah, that's right. This looks like a permanent road course, but it isn't. It's actually a temporary circuit built on this very nice hazel. And the thing is, this is as quick as any road track, but as unforgiving as any street course, because the walls are really, really close here. There is a wall, a famous wall, named by the present, right now almost by everyone, as Wall of Champions. And that's because I think that all champions that are or have hit that wall sometimes very hard.
Also, we have David Yunt in this race again and again. He's driving a different car because he doesn't have a full-time drive. He's going to be driving Richard Coxon's Brabham Yamaha in this race. It'll be interesting to see what he can do. But the big story, of course, David Jakes on the pole again, but Greg Boissin is right up with him, only a few tenths off. So finally, we might get a real race at the front here. That's what we're hoping for. So I think
that's right. We have Greg Wassin back.
So while we have a moment here, I think it's a good idea to go through the starting grid. So let's take a look at the way the cars are going to line up for round 5 of this championship. On the pole, David Jakes in the Jordan Cosworth, and alongside him, as I mentioned, Greg Wassin in the Lola Cosworth. Row 2, Michael Janek in the number 28 Ferrari, and he is flanked by Raul Ureb in the Williams Renault. Row 3, Ludovic Tiengu in a surprisingly good performance with the McLaren, and alongside him, Jan Kowalski in the March Ilmore. Next row, Juha Boss makes his debut with the Benetton team, and alongside him is David Yunt, we mentioned him a minute ago, in the Brabham Yamaha. Row number 5, Pascal Mikola in the second McLaren, and alongside him is Mick Chapman in the second Benetton. Now let's take a look at the rest of the starting field. At 11th, we have Francois Remen, flanked by Gerard Riant. 13th, Martin Lucena. 14th, Gabriel Del Piccolo. 15th is Philippe Martinelli in the second Williams. 16th, Ray Rodal. 17th, Paolo Rossetti. And 18th is Vincent Beretta. 19th and 20th are Alessandro Riolo and Peter Hlavik. Then the next row, Didier Congeot in the second Ferrari, and Grant Riddall making an appearance in the Lola Cosworth. The final two rows, Jonathan Asserklin in the AGS, Jason Fitch, his first start of the year for the Jordan team after several DNQs, Brian Janik in the Lamborghini, and starting last, Rob Swindells in the Coloni Cosworth. So that's your grid for round 5. Predictions.
Always hard to tell. Well, David Jacks is right now, I think, the favorite for everyone. His consistency and his skill are well proven.
Mm-hmm.
But Greg Wasson is always, of course, the guy to watch. So you have probably to pick between those two favorites. So you can never ignore the other guys that are right behind. If I had to pick between one of them, I would just go for Greg Wasson. Maybe just because this is a race, as you said, that will require a lot of concentration.
User
and
disconnected
Greg
from your
has
channel.
ultimately that probably in spades more than anyone, the ability to be on the absolute limit for the whole Grand Prix.
Well, I can speak from experience when we ran this race a couple of years ago. Actually, it was probably more than a couple of years ago, but it is a very mentally exhausting race because of how quick the chicanes are and how you have to be pinpoint precise all the time. After a while, it just really, really gets to you.
So your prediction will be?
I'm thinking Greg will finally assert his championship form in this situation. We will see.
So we do agree.
So
User was moved out of your channel.
So we have 27 people on the server right now, and we have 22 seconds to go here. So the question is, who is the odd man out?
What the starting grid was?
Well, let's see. I believe I remember Mark Florkin was on here, but I don't see him now. So somebody... Oh, we got... Okay, so now we're down to 26. All right.
Yeah.
All right, so... Okay. All right, so I'm going to move to the race session now as soon as I'm sure that everybody's in place. Okay. All right, here we go to the race session. Pole sitter is David Jakes, and Greg Wasson is alongside. And there they are. You can see them both there. This is going to be a really exciting start going into that first loop. Tense moments.
Shouldn't be as dangerous a start this time because it's not that far away the first heartbeat.
All right, here come the lights. And green light, the race is underway. As they cross the start finish line, look at Greg Wasson. He gets the jump into the corner. Greg Wasson leads the race. Let's see to make sure. Oh, goodness, we've got a Tyrrell going over the... there was a little bit of a agricultural excursion there.
Having the chicane, but overall I think they all got through quite quickly.
Yeah, it looks like they did. So here they come through. goodness, everybody looking for room. Oh, man, Riolo almost runs off the track. There comes down the inside. Goodness, be careful. But it does look like everybody managed to make it out of that start without a problem. Now, Greg Voisin leading. David Jakes is in second. So this is exactly what Greg Voisin would have wanted, to get a fast start. And now the question is, will David Jakes be able to stay with him as they come through the hairpin for the first time? Oh, there's contact between Mikola and Yannick. More cars over. Oh, goodness, we've got more contact going into the hairpin. People who are obviously trying to get an advantage, but it's really, really hairy to do it in the hairpin, especially
Martin
early
Lassina
laps.
has lost his front wing, probably as a result of that contact.
Oh, boy.
And I think everybody should remember that they are on cold tires. I mean,
Yes, cold tires.
Until the end of the first lap, they won't have normal racing temperature. So Martin Lassina is really making all the guys behind him stick there. Now he's trying to let them. He's going into the pits, so no longer a danger on the track.
Well, this wasn't a good weekend so far for the Dallara team. They didn't qualify in the top 10 either.
Oh,
of them.
Jason Fitch also lost his front wing.
Oh,
he's,
no.
in the pits now.
So we've got two cars in the pits. We got Fitch. Well, my screen is showing him with the front wing on, but maybe it's just late to update. And he's in the pits. And Lassina is also in the pits. But apart from those two,
he only took David Jakes with him because they have already opened a big gap to the third qualified place, in this case, Ludovic Tengu.
yeah, if we look back,
I would think that David Jakes is actually right now playing the waiting game. He's comfortable to follow Greg Voisin at this point, and he will probably also continue to do so for a while. I don't think that he will try to really make an attack unless he really feels he's much quicker.
well, you say that, but David Jakes is right behind Voisin right now, and potentially looking for a place to come by as they come down to the final chicane.
Well, he will always try to put pressure on him.
He's putting pressure on
He
him.
knows that probably the most intelligent thing to do at the moment, if Greg's rhythm is good, is to let him run and open a big gap to the guys behind, because once the hostilities completely begin between them both, it would be very easy with a slight error to have the other guys putting pressure on you from behind. So the safest bet for them to have a clean fight is to be able to first open a big gap to the cars behind.
We're looking at one of the newer cameras now, a chopper shot in this version of Circuit Gilles Villeneuve that Francois has prepared for us. Uh-oh, it looked like David Jakes might have got sideways there for a minute, but because he lost a little bit of time to Greg. Special
mention today for Ludovic Tengu, who is right now holding to third place.
Yeah, here he comes now in third place. His teammate, Pascal Mikola, is fourth, and then you have Raul Yareb in fifth, and Jan Kowalski in sixth. And then we've got a good scrap developing between, I believe it's Mick Chapman and Mikhail Yannick. And then it's real harem-scarum action towards the back.
Yeah, that's also behind them. You have also Francois Ramen,
okay,
who is also putting pressure on him.
All right, so it's really early for this, but already it appears that Greg Voisin is going to be lapping cars. He's coming up on Jason Fitch, who's exited the pits in the second Jordan after his repair job. So, oh goodness, Greg runs on. Oh, whoa, look out.
Really pushing it. He's trying to see if David Jakes is able to hold to him.
Well, we know that Greg is capable of driving qualifying laps for an entire race, so it's definitely a situation where David Jakes is Fitch pulls right over to the side. He doesn't want to be in any way impeding the leaders. And here he is right with him again, David Jakes. So looking for any opportunity, but I think you're right, Alberto. If I were David Jakes in this situation, I'd just be wanting to keep in contact with the leader, although, oh man, he came very close to touching his rear wheel there. Ludovic Tengu coming through the hairpin in third, Pascal Mikola fourth, Yareb in fifth, Kowalski in sixth, and then we have Chapman in 7th, Yannick 8th, Boss 9th, and Francois Remen running out the top 10.
Well, it's obvious that David Jacks has seen as well as us, because he's in the first row seat, able to watch that. He's attacking Greg now. He has seen the error that Greg just made, and he knows that Greg is under hard pressure, so probably there is no point for him in trying to take unnecessary risks.
No, absolutely not. But this is a real treat for us because as good as the first races in this series were, I think everyone would agree that it was not really the race at the front that was what made it exciting. And here we have a really close battle for first and second. This is what we were hoping would happen here at Montreal. Now they're on the backside of the course, coming down to the Campari chicane. And you can see that the nature of this track is one where you're basically threading the needle a bunch of times.
That's right, there are walls always at a short distance from the track, and that grass is always slippery, so if you put a single wheel there, it's very easy to get thrown against the wall.
So the cars...
That ends your race immediately.
Oh, Raul Yareb is looking for room to overtake Mikola, but not finding much of it in the hairpin. Here we come down to...
There are several fights developing behind, because this is a very fast track. It's not as difficult for the slower cars to stay with the others around them. So you can always have the big straights and the slipstream that helps you to catch the car in front.
Oh, goodness. Greg is pushing, but so is David Jakes. Every time he comes out of that last chicane, he's putting his right rear tire in the dirt. So he's definitely pushing as well. Don't think for a minute that he's just sitting back there waiting for an opportunity. Well, he is, but he is also having to really push hard just to stay in contact with Guassin.
Well, Greg did his quickest lap so far in the third lap, and he has done 2 slower ones since then. It may be that he is just...
Oh, goodness. David looking on the outside, but Greg was taking a defensive posture there, so there wasn't much chance for him to counterattack. Now, David Jakes comes down the outside going towards the hairpin. Looks like he might have him here. We'll see. No, Greg keeps on. Oh, man! Greg slides wide. David Jakes goes through. We have a new leader. David Jakes leads the Canadian Grand Prix.
Well, if David did that, that's because he feels he can be very much quicker. Otherwise, I don't think he would have taken that risk. Though we should be him see open a gap with Greg soon, because otherwise he would have misjudged very much the ability of Greg staying behind him. Because in this track, like I said, it's always misleading because the slipstream allows you to be with the car in front even if you're actually slow. So we will see now if David Jacks is really much quicker than Greg, or if Greg can comfortably be with him in the slipstream, in which case I think that David Jacks would certainly regret.
Oh, goodness! Greg just ran off the road and may have glanced the wall. Difficult to see there, but sorry to interrupt. But now he definitely is off the track. That was not Ping. That was so. What is this now? A case of overdriving? Is he just getting a bit too anxious?
I think he's overdriving because he wants to stay with David Jacks. And like I was saying, it's a matter right now of seeing what happens, because if Greg is able to stay with David Jacks like this, then David Jacks will always regret having overtaken him so early, because it's always more comfortable to be following a car rather than leading it and having the pressure of him trying to overtake you. We will see what happens now. Greg is also probably trying to take some tries to do some attempts to really see how quick he can follow David.
Well, meanwhile,
you can see that he hasn't really lost touch with him.
No, he hasn't. He's still the gap's opening up a little bit, but he isn't dropping back really far. The battle that really is interesting right now and is really getting hot is between Pascal Mikola, Raul Yareb, and then Mick Chapman.
There goes Raul.
Yeah, Raul now just trying to take, oh goodness, he's trying to take, oh goodness, Chapman could end up being the beneficiary here, because these two are really going at it. Here comes Ureb back on the inside, can't get through. And Chapman's sitting back there just waiting for the right opportunity. And then he's got a Leighton House march of Jan Kowalski right behind him. So,
yeah, because Raul did his attempt in a succession of corners. He allowed Pascal to stay on the inside and defend the position.
Yep.
That's probably an error that Raul won't be making again.
But we
probably Pascal is going actually much slower than Raul because they are allowing the other slower cars to stay with them.
Here comes Ureb looking at the outside. Oh, goodness! Pascal moved to the outside just late and the
judgment.
Oh, man.
The braking zone. Or the braking point, sorry.
Let's look at the replay of that from Raul's car. This is a replay. And he's going down the outside. Pascal fades to the outside. I don't know, racing incident there, I guess, but he wasn't.
No, but Raul has abandoned with suspension failure.
Yep, that's it. He ran clear into the wall, and that was it.
Meanwhile, also Grant Riddle and Vincent Beretta did, and Martin Lacina seems to have broken his engine, probably during his pit stop.
Oh, that's true. Because if you don't, and
we had so much action at the top that we missed it completely.
Well, Pascal. Well, looks like he's moving at an okay clip now, but you got to wonder if any damage was done in that incident.
Meanwhile, we have an answer to a question we were posing some time ago. David Jacques has opened a gap of 3.8 seconds to Greg Wasson.
So now, oh goodness, Mikael Janek is getting around. Yeah, it looks like Pascal Mikael has got a problem because he just let two cars by. Clearly he's got some kind of damage.
Oh, he just lost control there. In the middle of the track. Yeah, the rear of his car is clearly damaged.
Yeah. So now Remen lets him by, so Pascal's all the way down to 10th place. So the question is this something that he can fix in the pits, or is he basically out of the race?
There seems to be nothing fundamental broken, like a completely lost wheel or anything like that, but that car is really ill handling right now.
It's pretty clear that it is. So we'll see if he comes down and goes into the pits this time. Yeah, he's really fighting to keep the car straight. No, he's going to stay out. He's going to try to struggle on with it.
The oldest hope of the racing driver to continue and see if it goes his way.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it doesn't normally do.
So the gap between Jakes and Guascent is increasing now. It's almost it's 4.6 seconds now, and Ludovic Tiengu is in third. Tiengu now is in a pretty ideal situation, I'd say, for him. He doesn't have anybody in front of him and anybody behind him. Tiengu is a quick driver, but seems to all of the...
Well, Alessandro Riola also seems to have had suspension damage.
Oh boy, that's unfortunate because he had a really good race at Imola that went awry. Or actually, no, sorry, I'm thinking of Monaco. His Monaco performance was good until he had a retirement. So going back to this battle here between Juha and Mikael Janek, this looks like it could heat up pretty fast here. Juha making his debut in the Benetton, I believe. Look at the final.
And that's a very quick car in the straight.
Yes. So we'll see. He's getting the slipstream off of the Ferrari now, but obviously not close enough to really make any kind of a try. So the gap is now 5.3 seconds, so David really is starting to assert himself. The other question would be, are there likely to be any tire stops at Montreal?
Yeah, it's difficult to tell. Here the cars run with much less wing than other tracks, but and there are no high-speed corners, long high-speed corners. There are, however, very hard braking zones, and that will be very, very compromising for the brakes. Everybody will be the race brake width, and also the heavy, wide open brake ducts. But even so, it's quite easy to destroy your brakes.
Yeah.
So maybe that will be more of a problem than the tires.
So, as we see the cars come through, David Jakes is the leader. Greg Wasson coming through in second place. Third place, Ludovic Tiengu in the McLaren Honda number 2. The cars are all, it seems, very equally spaced out right now. Then next we have in fourth, Mick Chapman in the first of the Benettons. Then we have Jan Kowalski driving the Leighton House, number 15. Next, Mikael Yannick and Juha Boss, which is one of the closest battles so far. And then Paolo Rossetti in the first of the low tide. Francois Remen in ninth and Pascal Mikola 10th, and he's being hounded now by Gerard Rion in the Tyrrell. There's David Yunt. And then we have the next Lotus of Del Piccolo. So, a lot of the usual suspects at the front, Alberto. Oh goodness, David Jakes is coming up on some lap traffic now. Not that that will be a huge problem for him. But
I should point out that in the last lap, Calmicula is again on the same lap times, 1:26.5, that he was doing before his big incident.
So maybe he just needed some time to reacquaint himself with the car.
Probably.
So we have Jonathan Asserclint and Didier Conjo as the two cars that are about to be put a lap down by David Jakes. Jonathan gets out of the way and lets David come through. And Mikael Yannick seems to have stabilized his position relative to Juha Boss. Looked like Juha was closing for a minute, but now it looks like he's backed up just a tiny bit.
It's also important to note that these cars, because of the heavy load of fuel, and because of the setup that each driver prefers, they will be going through different phases all around the course. So at some points, some drivers might feel that they cannot attack the driver in front, or they are not in danger from the driver that is behind them. But then that can change 20 laps later. So we will probably see more trading of positions when the difference in fuel load starts kicking in, and the cars that had setups prepared for the end of the race start becoming quicker.
Right now we're watching Gerard Rion following Pascal Mikola, and I know you said that Pascal is turning laps now that are just as good as the ones he was before he had that incident with Rally Arab, but he's weaving on every straightaway, just trying to keep the thing going straight. So I don't know.
The last one wasn't good either.
No, now he just
now
he biffed the second to last chicane here. So Gerard's going to be looking to see if he can come alongside him. He comes down the inside and gets the pass done. Pascal's going to try to counterattack.
Shutting the door because he knows he just poses a danger for the rest of the grid. So
looking back at that.
Catches him.
Looking back at that incident with Rally Arab, I think probably what happened was Pascal was lining himself up for the corner, and he wasn't expecting Raul to try to overtake him in that kind of a spot on the outside like that. In a way, it may have been similar to what happened at Monaco in the Poitiers turn with Grant Radal. He was fading to the left to get a proper angle going into the corner, and just wasn't expecting his pursuer to be in that spot. What do you think?
It's also possible that because of the proximity of the car in front, Raul missed slightly his braking point, or maybe Pascal braked slightly earlier in this case. But when the cars are so close together and you are directly behind the other car, then there is of course no room for that. So the accident, the touch immediately happened.
Well, now we have David Yunt coming up on Pascal, and you can visibly see that he's having to struggle just to keep the car going straight, and just making it through the chicane it's taking a lot of effort.
Yeah, he's really struggling with the car right now. So Alessandro Riolo is out, Raul Jarab is out, Grant Ridal is out, Vincent Peretta is out, Martin Lacina is out. We have 21 cars still on track, but this is a big attrition race, so I don't think that we will see 21 at the finish line.
No, absolutely not. This is going to be an attrition race, mainly because of the close confines of the circuit. So Greg's gap now, well, it doesn't quite show on the, but it's definitely increasing. So if you're Greg at this point, probably the best thing to do is to try to save the car for the end, and maybe he can make a late race charge.
Yeah, that could be, like we mentioned some time ago.
Yes.
It's always going to make a big difference when the foil starts getting consumed and the cars are lighter. Meanwhile, it's Paolo Rossetti who has been slowly closing into Juha Boss. Juha wasn't able to overtake Michel Janak, though he has in front of him, but it seems that Paolo Rossetti has been able to slowly reel in on Juha Boss.
Paolo Rossetti with the Lotus Judd as they accelerate through this very, very fast section here. They actually, in later incarnations of Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, they've smoothed out this section. It doesn't have near the quick right-left combo that it was during 1991 and subsequent years. As they cross the start-finish line, coming down into turn one. Yeah, whatever challenge Juha was going to mount on Mikael Janek seems to have broken off, so now it's a chance for Paolo Rossetti to see if he can advance his position.
Meanwhile, I mentioned again that Ludovic Tingu is holding on to the third position, and I've been watching him a bit, and he's driving faultlessly. He's really concentrated and motivated in this race.
Well, I was going to point out that the bulk of the issues that Ludovic has had in races in the past have involved when he's around other cars. When he's running by himself, things are usually pretty smooth. It's when he's in contact with other cars that sometimes things go wrong. Close proximity racing, and he's not in that kind of a situation right now. He's got a clear track in front of him, a clear track behind him, and he can focus on running his own race. So from his point of view, this is probably a very, very, very ideal situation. It caters to his, when he's at his best. And it doesn't appear that Mick Chapman's making any impression on him.
So meanwhile, we have some reactions on the forum.
Oh, boy.
Raul just posted after coming out of the race, and he is not furious, but neither happy with the incident with Pascal Mikula. He thinks he had been trying to overtake in several races. It was a racing incident, as far as he's concerned, but he thinks that it would have been avoided. So, yeah.
Well, yeah. Actually, that's the thing. These cars are so frantic to drive on the limit that it is probably pretty tempting after an incident to have a very heated exchange, just because of the nature of the way you have to gear yourself up to drive these cars. But it'll be interesting to see if Ludovic can continue this smooth series of laps that he's been doing. He certainly is driving cleanly and without the what's the word I'm looking for? Just spirited nature that he drives in some other series. This is a very measured approach so far.
It's probably a bit like you say, a matter of him driving alone and able to concentrate exclusively on that. So I know, because I've co-driven him with him in endurance racing, and in those cases, because it's no longer a direct fight for position, except in rare cases, he has been able to drive quite well without crashing or anything during long stints and periods of time. So yeah, this situation could suit him well.
Speaking of endurance races, while we have a moment, let's talk about what's coming up in the next few weeks on Sunday nights at HSO. The Pace Petroleum 6 hours. The second round of the 1982 World Endurance Championship. Alberto and myself will be taking part in this race, and several other really, really good combinations of drivers, and there's still plenty of cars available for that race. Sunday, March 12th, so that's next Sunday. Then the following Sunday, we have the next round of this series, the Mexican Grand Prix. March 19th.
So Peter Lavak just went by Philippe Martinelli, I think. He's been coming from behind very quickly. And it's always strange to see Peter Lavak so far behind in the grid after the very good races he made last year in the Formula 178 mod.
Well, he's got a different car and different set of circumstances, but yeah, he's in close contact with Philippe Martinelli now. Let's see if Philippe can make an impression on him here. Actually, this is a rare instance where we do not have both Minardis in the race. There's just one. Yves Placé did not qualify for this race.
Yeah, it's again very weird, but power track, very peculiar. It has been favored in the cars with the most powerful engine.
Yes. Looks like Philippe
Ray Vidal in front of them, of Philippe and Peter Lavak, who is again another great driver we saw shine in last year's Formula 1 series. Interesting that they haven't adapted as well to these cars.
Well, I mean, certain drivers like certain characteristics of cars. You know, if it's a car that handles a certain way that doesn't cater to your driving style, then you're going to struggle with it. And you go from one series to another, and sometimes it just doesn't. You just don't find a good mesh between driver and car.
Yeah, these are very peculiar cars, that's for sure. Some drivers report that they get almost no feedback from them, which is unfortunately, I think, a bit how they handled back then, because of the very complicated aerodynamic effects of the flat bottom, the semi-active suspension. We already had some hint at that, and well, all the tricks and gimmicks that were used back then in the Formula 1, which was, I think, one of the seasons, or the eras where they spend more money. That's even possible in the Formula 1.
So now we have the leader coming up behind these two, and David Jakes gets by Philippe Martinelli. So this battle's going to break off for a second. But it's funny, though, you talk about all the gimmicks and aerodynamic tricks that they were trying back then. It's nothing compared to the silliness that goes on today, with all these strange appendages and shark fins and things of that nature. So compared to modern racing, these cars look pretty clean and pretty unencumbered.
Yeah, only that the modern racing, all this technology that they put in there doesn't really make as much of a difference between cars. I mean, except Mercedes, who has always been really one or two steps in front of the rest, the others are quite well matched. They are not being able to really gain an advantage, even if they are spending amounts of money.
So the gap now between David Jakes and second place Greg Boissin seems to have solidified. It's actually dropping a little bit. It's now down to 12 seconds. And then you have a 4-second gap from Greg Boissin back to Ludovic Tiengu. So it could be that David is just backing off a little bit, trying to save the car. But we'll see how this plays out. He's just dispensed with Ray Vidal, and now Ray looks like he's going to come under attack from Peter Lavak here. Although, no, it's more the case that Lavak is going to come under attack from Philippe Martinelli.
Yeah, the three of them are getting ever closer. It's true that Philippe has been catching Peter Lavak, but then again, Peter Lavak has been doing the same with Ray. So we could see a three-way fight here for the same position very soon.
Of course,
it's the one that poor Ray has.
We're talking about a fight for basically 15th place or 14th place. So it's certainly not high in the leaderboard, but it definitely looks spirited on TV.
Yeah, you can't ignore though that, because we know there is a big attrition in this race, and later on we might see many cars not finishing. this 15th place could easily turn into a top 10. And maybe
Possibly.
better.
Yep.
And then again, what else are you doing otherwise if you're not fighting the guy in front?
Oh no, we have another retirement. Paolo Rossetti is out of the race. Let's take a look at the
speaking
replay.
of retirements,
Yeah,
you go.
Let's see what happens here. As he heads into the chicane, it appears, oh goodness, well, that's weird. That may have been a disconnect, I'm not sure.
So Gerard Rion is always also catching Francois Remen. We are used with Gerard already from last year that he is a guy that goes from minus to plus to. Races always start slowly and then he starts warming up, and in the end he's there tireless, always fighting it. Now he's catching Francois Remen and starting to put some pressure on him.
Yeah, he had some harrowing laps with Mikola in front of him for a bit, and now that that's over with, it's a little bit of a calmer situation, so he can take his time and size up Francois in front of him and see if he can find a way around him.
Peter is also putting some pressure on Ray Riddle already. So we have right now action going on all over the track.
Yeah, and a lot of things heating up here. This actually now, this is a 12th place battle now with the retirement of Paolo Rossetti. So you're right, the attrition is already starting to play out. Peter Hlavik looking...
They all get the position, so they will probably immediately realize that.
Man, Peter Hlavik just had a really, really squirrely moment coming out of a chicane. He was lucky to catch the car.
And on the very bottom of the race, Rob Swindles is also putting some pressure on Brian Janney. While Jason Fitz moves away to let them pass, or I think his car is damaged. He's without the front wing. He must have hit the wall somewhere, letting the other cars by, and he will probably go in for the pits for repair. Hopefully, only the wing.
Goodness, that's the second front wing that he's lost in this race. So, Fitch, a regular on the USAC circuit last year, a guy that probably favors oval racing more than road course racing, although he's been quick in a few road course races, but clearly not having the best of seasons with the Jordan team.
So Peter Hlavik is already having to defend himself from Philippe Martinelli. And the three with Ray Riddle are really close now.
Yeah, this is turning out to be a really... Oh no! Peter Hlavik has crashed! He runs off the racetrack into the gravel trap. Now the question is he going to continue or is he going to retire?
Is he going to come out of the gravel trap before his engine explodes?
He's coming out now.
Yeah, he was able to get it.
All right, let's take a look at a replay of this. He just lost the back end under braking, it looks like.
Probably he put the lower gear.
Oh, he's still having issues. He's having
lost the front wing, yeah. And there is a tire smoking.
I think if he doesn't have a flat, he's got some kind of suspension damage there. That's too bad because that was going to be a really good battle. Oh no, he's lost it again now he's lost his rear wing. He's gone into the gravel trap at the end. And now he's out of the race.
Oh, brakes. It says brakes.
It says brakes.
So it seems that the reason he lost it is because his brakes were gone.
That's amazing.
So
after only 20...
we've been talking about at the beginning of the race, it already happened.
Brake failure after 22 laps. That's not that is not a good harbinger if some people have not set up their car to handle this stuff well. The heat and the brakes. Okay, this is going to be this could be interesting. Greg Boissin in second is now coming up to Pascal Mikola to lap him. And we know that Pascal's struggling with that car. Hopefully Greg will be able to get by without incident.
Well, Mick Chapman has in the crosshair of his Benetton the third place that Ludo is right now having.
Well, we said earlier that it didn't look like he was making much of an impression. Maybe we spoke too soon. Yeah, he is definitely closing now. Chapman finally had a really, really excellent result at Monaco in this car, finishing second. After several DNFs in races at looked like he would have a good finish, but it didn't work out. So I'm sure he'd love to follow up his performance at Monaco with a good performance here. He's actually driving the car that won this race in 1991. Infamously, after Nigel Mansell stopped at the hairpin on the last lap, there's much debate over why the car stopped. Some people say he switched the car off accidentally. Some people say that it was an electrical failure within the car that was beyond Mansell's control. But in any case, Nelson Piquet came around to take the win with Stefano Modena in second. So you had Piquet's last career victory, and you had two Pirelli drivers on the podium, which I don't think ever happened again, or at least not in that era. Obviously now everybody drives with Pirelli tires, but back then...
And look at that. As Greg Wasson was lapping, Philippe Martinelli, Pascal Mikula stuck to Greg Wasson and also was able to pass Philippe Martinelli. And he's now, what the hell is he doing? He's racing Greg Wasson.
Yeah, you know, that was what I was thinking. You know, hopefully he understands the situation he's in and that he has to let him by. But thankfully that didn't pan out as dramatic as I was worried it would.
Well, Pascal just unlapped himself, I believe, because in the standings he still believed he had no. Right now it was updated. Yeah, it was for possession actually. And now his teammate Ludo is coming right behind him.
Well, this is
because I thought Ludo was more far behind Greg Wasson than that. So either Greg has lost a lot of time, or Ludo has been able to reel.
Ludo has been reeling Greg in is the answer.
Yeah.
And now we've got Pascal right behind Ludo.
And Mick Chapman is also almost on Ludovic.
Oh man, this is going to get really exciting here, because now you have third and fourth place in contact now, because Mick Chapman has just gotten around Mikola.
And I would say that probably Greg Wasson lost a lot of time somewhere with lapped cars, because he was 18 seconds behind David Jacks, and now he's 22, Ludo 24, Mick Chapman 25. So it's been Greg who has been held. Therefore, that's the reason that the others have caught him.
So we got Raymond Riddall giving room for everybody here. Yeah, Ludovic, and you can see them now. We've got all three of them, second, third, and fourth in the same shot. Wasson, Tiangu, Chapman. So, and now Ludovic is right with Greg Wasson, looking on the outside going into these sweeping turns. Ludovic sensing an opportunity to be in second place in this Grand Prix, but he wants to be really careful. He doesn't want to throw away an excellent race.
Really complicated position, because he also has to defend himself from Mick Chapman.
Yep, it's true. Okay, so now there's a good gap between Chapman and Mikola, so it looks like Pascal is now well and clear of this fight. So now it's going to be a situation of where is Tiangu going to attack?
In any case, it was a very opportunistic move from Pascal Mikula, because he has been able to overtake both Philippe and Ray Riddle.
Yeah.
So the outcome of it has been really great for him. Philippe is right now putting pressure on Ray Riddle.
Oh, goodness. Ludovic really broke late for that corner, and I think
Philippe right side by side, and he just overtook Ray Riddle.
Let's take a look at that with replay action. Well, not quite side by side, but here he comes, overtaking into the chicane. Nice clean move. Yeah, very well done. So back to this battle between Tiangu and Guassin. It's opened up a little bit, so these guys have got a little bit of time to cool their jets. But I'm really concerned about...
It was obviously traffic that helped Greg Wasson, so if there is no longer any traffic, then maybe he able to put rhythm that at least keeps Ludo at bay. We will see.
Well, I'm really hoping that Ludo doesn't do an overly optimistic overtaking maneuver.
What's wrong with Greg's tire? The right rear tire was constantly smoking for a very long distance.
You just saw out of the corner of the picture there, Didier Conjo coming back on track. Apparently he's had some kind of an off-course excursion. So you're saying that
Jan Kowalski is also putting some serious pressure on Juha Boss right now. Yeah, like I predicted, it seems that the cars have been changing the behavior due to fuel consumption. And as you see, some cars have gotten suddenly much quicker and are able to pull moves and overtake and suddenly make quicker lap times.
Well, Jan Kowalski is right with Juha now. He pulls out, takes a look, but really there isn't a chance for him to overtake there. Kowalski's a guy who's really... Oh, man! Kowalski loses the back end. This is a guy who's really anxious for a good result. But he's going to have to be careful not to make any more mistakes like that.
David Jones is also putting a bit of pressure on Francois Remen right now. As you see, it's a matter of what is happening with the fuel on the cars. People who had started with a setup that was apparently quicker because they developed it for more fuel load. They are now suffering nasty surprises because the other cars are becoming quicker.
Oh boy, Chapman now is really close to Ludovic. Looks like potentially he could make a move at some point here. But then, of course, if you're in Chapman's shoes, if you do get around Ludovic, now you're stuck between the two cars. It's really not the... You're not really going to a better circumstance. So
never forget that he has not just Ludo but also the second qualified in front.
Oh so man, Ludovic.
The most careful or prudent course of action here would be to see who is able to overtake Greg.
So watch points
and wait for the opportunity to overtake them both while they are tangling together.
You saw there a really interesting telescoping effect. Oh my goodness, Ludovic now down the inside. And oh man,
I don't think he's going to overtake Greg on the brakes. It must be done somewhere.
Oh no, now we've got contact between...
He's squeezing Mick Chapman against the wall.
Oh goodness.
He was still thinking
guys,
of Greg Wasson.
Come on, guys. Goodness. So that, I think we were lucky to get out of that without any major damage. Well, maybe I spoke too soon because now Tiangu is locking up his right front. Maybe there's some damage there. Who knows?
David Junt is also mounting his attack on Francois Remen right now. And Philippe Martinelli has hit something because suspension retirement.
Oh no!
He's laid out of the track and hit sideways the wall.
Here's the replay. Yeah, he ran off the track and into the barrier. Shoot. Yeah, so he's going to be dropping down the order. And as you mentioned, David Yunt is right with Francois Remen. Oh, we have a Tyrrell off the track there, I believe. And that would be Gerard Rion.
Jan Kowalski and Juha Boss. Well, that was close. Maybe it was lag on my side, but I think they both entered sideways the turn. They're fighting it out very hard also.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff going on here. It's hard to keep track of it. Now, Juha looks like he might be trying to set him up going into the hairpin. Oh! Look out, guys. That's car's doing four-wheel drifts under braking.
Yep.
But it looks like he's got him set up again here, potentially. We'll see if... no, he's too far back at this point. But you can see how quickly they go through these chicanes. If you're off by just a little bit, it's not... The outcome will not be ideal.
Greg has been able, meanwhile, to put 1.5 seconds between him and Ludo, and Mick Chapman has been able to overtake Ludo, it seems.
Yeah, Ludo is now down to 4th. So
Mick is closing on Greg.
Yeah, I think Ludo might have had some kind of an issue, perhaps related to what happened between himself and Mick. But now Mick is closing in on
And on
Greg
screen,
Boissin.
David Jones has already overtaken Francois Remen.
Oh, here comes Chapman down the looking on the inside. Greg being defensive. We'll see if he's able to get a run on him. Coming out of this. Oh goodness! Oh man!
That was a misunderstanding, probably.
Well, that's a foreshortened shot, so it does look more dramatic than it probably actually is. But there's weaving coming down that last straight. If you want to overtake Greg Boissin, you've got to earn it.
That's right. And it will be very hard to do on the brakes.
Yes.
He's probably the latest breaker. Oh, he
Yep.
missed the chicane there.
Yeah, he missed the
He's
chicane
really feeling
there.
the pressure.
User entered your channel.
And I believe we have company in the booth. It appears Peter Hlavik, but he has got an away sign, so maybe we'll be able to talk to him later. In any case, here's Chapman again, taking another look. Coming down, looks like he might have him this time. Looking for room. Oh, Greg breaks way later, goes into the runoff area, and there goes.
Whoa, he was very lucky there because
Yeah.
it was barely centimeters away from the slippery grass. Udo was there waiting for his opportunity, just 100 yards behind.
So Mick Chapman's back up into second place now, or not back up into, but now he's in second place. Greg looks like he's going to try to counterattack here, but not enough room. Oh, Greg just hit the wall.
I was about to say that in the previous turn he had already been on the grass. He's doing all that he can and a bit more.
Well, he's doing all that he can, a bit more, and maybe... Goodness, I don't know. Peter Hlavik is trying to join us, but he is unable to get his microphone working, so maybe we can talk to him later on. In any case, Mick Chapman now running in second place. Boissin is staying with him, though. He's not dropping back. These two are, well, they... Oh, goodness. Greg is really struggling now.
I think that all those touches against the wall have been progressively deteriorating the handling of his car.
Possibly, but then we got Tiangu kind of waiting in the wings here. We'll see if he's able to make any impression.
Well, meanwhile, David Jacks is minding his own business and is already half a minute in front of them. Just lapped David Jones.
Yep, 30 seconds, and then of course the closest battle in the track is between Boissin and Chapman as they come down to complete another lap here. The race is already half over, believe it or not. Oh, oh goodness, Greg bouncing off the wall. Oh man, that's not good. Oh, that's okay. That's it. Shoot. Well, there goes that.
Much too hard. Yeah.
The engine
Not
just
the
let
track
go.
where he could defend himself best with his car, so he gave his absolute everything, but that was the end of it.
Yeah, the car bouncing off the wall there, comes down to the first turn, bounces up. Oh man, yeah. Violent collision with the inside wall, and that's all she wrote. Too bad, because we would have really liked to have seen him mount a challenge in the championship, because now we have David Jakes out in front, you know, could possibly win his 5th race in a row. Reminds me that Greg Boissin won 5 races in a row last year in the F1 78 series.
Well, I must say, there are some reactions in the forum, and Martin Lacina is very disappointed right now with performance in this championship, and he has just given up his car, the Dallara.
My goodness.
So that's a good car that becomes available. I don't know, but if someone would give it to Greg, that would certainly spice up the championship again.
It certainly would. As the rules state, cars in that first run, they go through a 24-hour period where other drivers can request them. So that potentially could happen, actually. I think that apart from that recent vacancy that you just announced, there may be 1 or 2 other vacancies. I'm going to have to look real closely to see who actually showed up and who didn't. for the last 2 races, and perhaps there's at least 1, maybe 2 more.
So Jan Kowalski seems to be right now reeling, and Kaljanak was doing a very comfortable race up until now.
Here they are. Yeah, he is. He's reeling him in. That Ilmore engine is no slouch on the straights.
Also something that we had been talking about before the race with some of our drivers, with Jonathan and David, and it seems to be also happening. Many of the drivers who had powerful engines but that sucked a lot of petrol were going to do a strategy that consisted on turning down the fuel the first laps, and then maybe from half the race onwards they would put all the boost possible, because by then they know that they could do the whole race. So that could also explain why some cars have suddenly sped up so much.
Okay, yeah, that's potentially. And Kowalski is right with Yannick now as they cross the line.
Coming with momentum.
Yes, but that would have been a bonsai move if he had done anything. Oh, but Yannick runs a bit wide, loses traction coming out of that corner. So he may be able to mount a challenge here in the next few corners. Yes, he's right with him. He's definitely getting better traction coming out of the slow turns than Yannick is in the Ferrari. Here he comes with the overtaking maneuver, and he gets by. Excellent.
Clean one,
very clean. So that will move Jan Kowalski up to 4th place. How much he would love to finally have a points finish in this series after many disappointments. Engines blowing up, accidents. Hasn't been Jan's ideal open wheel series. As he's coming up now to lap Jonathan Assercliffe. So the gap between Tiangu and Mick Chapman is now 3 seconds. So that's pretty much solidified. And look at how quickly Kowalski's pulling away from... oh, goodness. Mikkel Yannick is coming into the pits. So
that could be the reason. Maybe he had scheduled a pit stop.
A tire stop at this point.
And his tires were already completely degraded. Which makes us wonder if anyone else on the top will be doing the same.
And there he is exiting the pits now. So, yeah, that's something I'm interested in is how many people are actually planning on doing tire stops. Because right now our leader has a 30-second advantage. So if he wanted to come into the pits and change tires, he could. And he would still probably retain his lead.
And it seems that another car that has been suddenly changing his pace is the one from Gerard Rion, because he was far behind François Remen, who overtook him earlier in the race, but now he's reeling in again.
Well, we saw he had an off-course excursion a little while back, so it looks like he's bouncing back from that, which is good to see. So at this point, we only have 5 cars on the lead lap. Leader, David Jakes. Second, Mick Chapman. Third, Ludovic Tengu. Fourth, Jan Kowalski. And fifth is the second Benetton, Juha Boss. 1 lap down.
It seems that Gerard Rion did a lap that is almost 2 seconds quicker than François Remen on the previous one. So
whoa.
I would bet that he's really catching him very soon. It's probably a matter of having been able to up the boost once he is comfortable knowing that he will finish the race. Reminding fear.
It's interesting. I've noticed that there's one of the biggest differences in people's lap times is being in this section right here that we just went through. A very fast left-right section that comes right after the hairpin. Some people really back off going through there because they don't want to hit the wall. Other people are going through there with absolute commitment. And you can gain or lose, obviously, like whole seconds there, depending on how you take that section. Some people are going very gingerly through there because they want to finish, obviously. And other people are very confident in their skills and are just blasting through there with pinpoint accuracy.
Right. It's in those very quick turns where most of the time can be made.
Or lost.
Or lost. Yes. Because
Okay.
in the hairpins, no matter how good you do it, the difference is always very small. You also rely a lot on traction, so as the tires degrade, it's not that you are going to benefit a lot more. But in these very quick corners, once you get the most of them, you really come out quick. It's not just the cornering speed, it's the extra speed that you get for the next ride.
So you see that Remen is the second car in line here in front of Gerard Rion. He's got Ray Radal in the Brabham Yamaha between himself and, oh goodness, yeah, Ray backed off considerably in that sweeping section. Now he lets Gerard Rion by, so now Rion's got a clear track in front of him to attack. And he came through that chicane beautifully. Now they're coming up on, I believe that's Didier Conjo, yeah. And now he has a unencumbered view in front of him, and he can focus on trying to advance his position with regard to Francois Remen.
Well, we know from his lap times, from Gerard Rion's lap times, that he was able to go really much quicker than he did 2 laps in 1:24. That was not the 2 previous laps because he had been held up, but in the other 2 he did 1:24s, which is almost 1.5 seconds quicker than what Francois could do.
Well, this will be a battle for 8th place once these two are in contact with each other.
Yeah, but it's with the attrition that we've seen, it's potentially a points-paying position.
No, very much. It's very potentially points paying.
Yeah, it could convert easily into a 6th position. The one that is, by the way, right now holding Michel Janak, who after his pit stop still is able to be point-scoring position. Only that he is with softer tires, with better tires, and he's doing low 124s right now. Whereas Juha Boss, who is in front, is doing high 24s or 25s. So we will see how this develops towards the end of the race.
David Jakes, our leader, just overtook both Remen and Rion. I believe that was the second time that he's put in a lap down. So, we have reaction from Peter Hlavik here. His mic won't be recognized, but anyways, as you figured out, I got a brake failure, ducts at 8, engine brake 3, yet it didn't last too long. Rear end snapped, and there was nothing I could do. Thank you for the coverage. It's been highly entertaining. Well, sorry to see your race end that way.
Just press the wall slightly.
Oh.
Yeah, he's really pushing. He wants that position in front of him.
Let's take another look at that in a replay. Yep, he just grazed the wall where the Pirelli sign is on the outside. So, but now he's right with Francois Remen, so maybe that didn't cost him as much as we thought.
One interesting development of the race. David Jacques has now only 30 seconds advantage over Mick Chapman, whereas there was 30 seconds some time ago. It's up now to 14 seconds. Maybe it was because of traffic. He got held up behind lapped cars.
Oh,
but
yes.
Anyway,
That's
no,
true.
I see that there was a lap from David Jacques that was in 1:41, and that's probably because he made a pit stop. He must have gone for fresh tires because he just did a 1:22. That is very quick. I think the quickest lap so far from everybody in the race.
All right. Well, then
So
he
we
must have
missed his pit stop.
he must have made a pit stop. But in any case,
User disconnected from your channel.
we have a situation now where Mick, if he wanted to, he could mount a drive. But like you just said, if David has fresh tires, it's not going to be easy.
No, you can buy him with goodbye unless he makes a big error.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the difference is up to 15 seconds right
15
now.
already, yeah.
Yeah, it's almost 1 second per lap.
And now
So it's back to Gerard Brion putting pressure on Francois Remen.
oh yes, this is the closest battle on the track right now.
It's really difficult to be following a car that close in this.
He's got it. Sorry, go ahead.
Because you miss your references so easily because the car in front is hiding them. And any small difference, I mean, people who are not used to driving competition can't believe that, but a simple a yard or half a yard missing your turn entry point can mean a whole world of difference. It can be the difference between hitting the wall or coming clean out.
Well, Gerard is clearly, as you said, with the lap times and we have visual evidence now that he could go quicker here, but he's basically looking for the best way to get around Francois.
Well, we've seen it. One thing is catching someone, and a very different one is overtaking.
Two different things entirely. Oh, Francois! Oh, goodness. Gerard had to get on the binders quickly there to avoid hitting Francois, because Francois came almost to a dead stop in that corner. He had all four tires locked
Both
up.
were very lucky there.
Mm-hmm. That could have caused damage to both cars, but both continue.
So we have some reactions more in the forum. It's Greg Wasson.
Mm-hmm.
Says that he will let him some time to make a decision, but that he feels his car is not competitive and he might leave it for the rest of the season. This is impossible for him to challenge, to mount a battle and have fun. So yeah, we'll have to think about it.
Francois Remen, meanwhile, is coming to the pits for a tire change, and he's exiting now. So I guess he figured that now was a good time to do that, rather than keep fighting with Gerard.
Yeah, well, the rhythm. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa!
Oh,
whoa.
man!
My goodness, that was very close there.
Gerard Rion just almost had a run-in with Fitch. Let's have another look at this in a replay.
That's probably a misunderstanding in that Fitch wanted to let him by, but
oh man, they were very lucky to not have contact there. My goodness. So Gerard's had a couple of hair-raising moments in just the past two laps. One with a back marker, one with the guy he was following. Gap between David Jakes and Mick Chapman is now about 18 seconds, almost 19. And Ludovic Tiangu is now settled back into his very comfortable third place that he had earlier in the race. And since and Kowalski's in a similar situation, so is Juha. So the interesting thing now will be, can Mikael Yannick, with his fresh tires, close the gap to Juha? Oh, and while all this has been going on, it's almost gone unnoticed. Well, it has gone unnoticed, and that's down to us having a lot to cover. But David Yunt is in 7th place. He's in the Jonathan Asserclint catbird seat. So, oh no, he's sideways going into one of the chicanes. Be careful, David. So now, if somebody else has an issue ahead of him, David could be scoring points in his super sub role yet again.
Right, and that's also, I think, the first time he drives this car, the Brabham.
Mm-hmm. With its V12 Yamaha.
So many races, so many cars, so I think he repeated once, but sure.
I don't think he's driven the same car
Juha
twice.
Boss is in the pits right now.
Oh,
Changing
yep.
tires, seems. Yeah, he's back out.
He's coming out. So
David just gets by right now.
So David Yunt is entered the top 6.
Yeah, but with Juha Boss on a Benetton with fresh tires, I don't think that David will be able to hold that position for long.
Yeah, we'll see.
Let's see what happens.
It'll
Yeah,
take a
with
couple of
the guys
laps
on
for
the top.
Juha to get those tires up to temperature, but once he does, that's a good point. He could reel in David Young quite quickly.
Francois Ramen came out of the pits and meanwhile has lost a position to Gabriel De Piccolo and Gerard Rion, of course, who was right behind him. So we will see also how he does with the fresh tires.
Well,
There are right now big differences on track between the cars, especially those that did change the tires and those that didn't.
Yeah, he did lose positions to both Del Piccolo and
Oh,
Rion.
Kowalski just made a spin.
Oh no!
And yeah, he touched and lost the front wing. That's very unfortunate. If it had been just a spin,
Here's
that's
the
one
replay.
thing, but this will hurt him badly.
So where did this spin occur? Oh, he ran wide on the exit of the first loop and hit the. Oh goodness, that's unfortunate. So now he's going to lose all.
Well, now his opportunity to change tires. Well, he does so with the front wing, so maybe he still can mount a late race attack.
Maybe.
Recover at least some points.
So he's tooling around, trying to get back to the pits now. But that's a huge, that's a long, long lap when you don't have that downforce in the front. Brian Janik coming up now.
He hasn't been overtaken yet by Michal Janak or David Jant.
True.
Michal isn't even close to the hairpin right now. Arriving right now.
Well, we'll see how quickly he can get out of the pits. It's obviously not going to be as quick a stop as the other guys because they didn't have to affix new equipment to the car, new wings. But here he comes.
And there he goes into the pits.
Into the pits.
Hopefully there is no more damage in the car, except that it can be easily fixed. And well, yeah, he has to fix that. But I don't think that the replacement of the front wing is one of the operations that delays the car more.
Oh goodness! There was a slight that might have been ping. I couldn't tell, but
User entered your
one
channel.
of the Benettons. Also, we have Rob Swindells coming into the pits at the same time here. Juha has gone by Jan Kowalski, and now here comes Gerard Rion, Jonathan Asserklint. Now
Kowalski is now on the move.
Now he's on the
coming
move.
out of the pits. He's in 6th position, so he still plays points. Gerard Rion hasn't overtaken him yet, I think. No, he has. He has come out on 8th, but he's right on Gerard Rion's tail and on fresh tires.
So Jan has dropped down to.
Yeah.
So it is not all lost for Jan Kowalski. He's down to 8th, but he's got Gerard right in front of him.
David Jones is meanwhile being under attack from Juha Boss, who, as we know, changed tires some laps ago.
That's right.
User disconnected from your channel.
But then again, this means that David Jan, Juha Boss, Gerard Rion are very close together, and Jan Kowalski right behind them. So for Jan Kowalski, this could mean that potentially he has the opportunity to climb back to a 5th position, because all those cars are very close in front of him, and he's now on fresh tires.
Oh, look at this. Juha is looking very racy right now.
Kowalski already disposed of Gerard Rion, who made it easy, knowing that there was a big disadvantage with the difference in tires. And now Kowalski is speeding up, trying to catch Juha and David Jant. That's not a good situation for Juha Boss, because he's losing a lot of time behind David Jant, and that will allow Jan Kowalski to get closer to him.
It's true.
And they both are in direct competition, because they both came out of the pits with fresh tires not many laps ago. Jan Kowalski right now and Juha Boss 4 laps ago. So should really overtake David Jant soon and start getting quicker.
Pascal Mikola off the track briefly. Didn't look like he lost any wings, so hopefully he can
just gravel.
Yeah, just in the gravel. So hopefully he can get back going again.
Juha Boss seems unable to overtake David Jant for now.
Yeah, he's seems to be dropping back just a tiny bit.
David Junt is doing very good lap times with that car. He's doing 124s, even if a bit hampered by the attacks from Juha Boss.
Yep.
While Jan Kowalski did also a 125 after coming out of the pits, but now with his tires warm, I believe we will soon getting into the 123s. So yeah, Pascal Nicola finally with damaged suspension is out.
Oh.
User entered your channel.
And I believe we're being joined by Pascal Mikola now.
Alright, guys.
Sorry to hear that you're out of the race, Pascal. What finally put you out?
Gearbox. The gearbox. Didn't
Oh.
want to. I don't know. I couldn't find the gears anymore. And then when I found it, I stole the engine. Then the clutch didn't want to go anymore.
Well, things started to go bad for you early in the race when there was some kind of misunderstanding between you and your reb at the hairpin. What's your version of that event?
My version of that is that he was way faster than me, of course. But the thing is, I braked a little bit earlier there, and I don't know if he didn't see that I was braking a little bit earlier than him. But I was doing that the last 5-6 times when he was chasing me anyways. And then he just ran into my back. I don't know what damage he had to retire after that incident, but I had a broken rear suspension, and that kind of screwed my whole race up.
Well, right now we're watching David Yunt and Juha Boss, and Juha has the benefit of fresh tires, and he's attacking David Yunt here, looking for I believe this is a battle for 5th place. So, I mean, driving quickly, Pascal, at this track under normal circumstances with a car that's intact is difficult, but trying to do it and thread the needle lap after lap with a damaged car can't be easy.
It's not easy at all.
No.
You know how my car was behaving at Monaco.
Mm-hmm.
And here it's even worse because it's a really fast track. Monaco isn't, and here if something goes wrong, if the suspension's damaged, it's way more difficult to keep the car in a straight line.
So Juha Boss seems to be finally understanding
he's
that he has to pass David Junt. He's trying to get a better exit of that turn. He wasn't able. David did very good blocking, clean blocking of that corner there, because he was probably knowing what Juha Boss was up to. This is really an incredible chase here.
Juha is clearly faster through that sweeping section than David is. So.
And as predicted, Jan Kowalski is already in low 123s.
So this whole situation is going to tell us
that has decided Juha Boss to start putting pressure on David Junt, because they are both doing 124s. So Jan Kowalski is closing in at 1 second per lap.
So I gotta go now. I gotta prepare stuff for Silverstone. Have fun commentating, and I'll see you next time.
All right, take care.
See you, thanks.
User disconnected from your channel.
So Pascal, obviously, not a happy camper right now. But the great thing about sim racing is there's always another one right around the corner.
Jan Kowalski, by my estimations,
Oh!
because I have that directly, is about 6 seconds behind David Junt and Juha Boss.
I think the pressure.
So it's about 5-6 laps that Juha Boss has of marching to overtake David Junt before he has Kowalski on his tail.
David Yunt is clearly feeling the pressure from Juha because he's been four-wheel drifting through some of the chicanes. And his tires clearly aren't giving the grip that Juha is getting from his fresh tires. These two, incidentally, are running the same tire equipment. They're both running Pirellis. Now Juha is alongside. Looks like he's got a great opportunity here as they come into the first turn. Oh, goodness.
No,
Nope.
David locked the inside of the turn very well. David is a master placing the car, one must say. I mean, he's a very clean driver, but he really...
Oh no! Collision! And David
that's
spun
very
around.
unfortunate.
Yuha continues on.
Yeah, I think the problem is that David John did brake a bit earlier because of the lapped car that was in front of him.
Let's take another look at this.
Yeah, and Yuha Boss hit him on the rear.
Yeah,
Very unfortunate.
there's the contact.
Yeah,
They were both very
watching the
lucky.
replay, the reason is very likely that. So, and all this must have allowed, yes, as expected, Jan Kowalski to be right on David John.
Oh no! Kowalski spins again! But this time doesn't suffer any damage, keeps going. Let's take a look at a replay.
He was very lucky there.
He was right alongside David Yunt. Let's take a look at this in replay again. I don't think there was any contact there, but he had a very...
there wasn't. What you did, he lost the rear and the braking.
Yeah. Did Kowalski stop for tires? He did.
Yeah, when
Yeah,
he
he
changed
did
his
when he
front
changed
wing.
his wing. That's right. So,
yeah, that's the reason he got
so
up.
it looks like he's having either a brake issue or a brake bias issue, something.
Probably, like we said, the fuel consumption, the tank is more empty now, and the balance in his car has shifted a bit. So he will probably right now be fiddling with the brake bias control and putting a bit more of brake bias in the front to prevent this happening again.
Unbeknownst to us, or we missed it, Rob Swindells is out of the race with suspension damage. So it's too bad because just getting the Kalani on the grid is a feat in itself. And David Jakes is back to a very, very comfortable cushion. He's got a 33-second gap to Chapman, so provided that he doesn't make any mistakes, he could. It looks like he's going to be going on to his 5th consecutive win in this series. Not unprecedented, but it's certainly an impressive achievement if he can pull it off. Yeah. And Tiangu is the last car in the lead lap in 3rd place.
So David Jant is right now catching Juha Boss. I don't know if there is some kind of problem from damage from the accident they had, but they are now preparing for a 3-people battle between Boss, Kowalski, and Junt.
Brian Janik lets David Yunt by, and I suspect he's going to let Kowalski by as well, and he does. So you're right.
David Junt must be quite furious right now with Juha Boss because David was faultless on the incident, and Juha Boss didn't actually comply with the customary procedure here to let David Junt pass again, considering that he was the cause of the accident.
Well, I'm sure there'll be discussions about that in the forum after the fact, but you're right, Alberto. It looks like these three are going to be in very close contest really quickly here. David is very definitely closing in on Juha, and then you've got Kowalski closing in on David Yunt. This is all a
and
battle.
In this situation, is David in the middle of the sandwich who has the worst tires. So
yes.
Oh, there you go. He missed the chicane. So yeah, Kowalski has been able to overtake him. But now let's see what happens, because it wouldn't surprise me much that Kowalski and Juha Boss got distracted in his own fight, and that gives David an opportunity again.
Here's the replay of him shortcutting the chicane, and it was the back end getting loose finally when he got back on the track that allowed Kowalski to get by. But he's not dropping back. He's staying right with this group. But now that the two cars with the fresh tires are in the front, it may expand again. We'll see.
Like we said, because of the slipstream, it can happen that the car is slightly slower in the turns, loses a bit there, but then coming out of the straight, it comes very quick on it and is able to catch back the car that had left him behind in the turns. So this could help David John up with this both, at least for a while.
He's definitely benefiting from the slipstream from Juha's car. Whoa, look at that closure rate coming into the chicane. He's going to have to be careful.
It's actually dangerous because the slipstream makes you quicker, but then again at the same time it does so because there is less drag, there is less air acting on your wings. That also means that once you are going to brake hard, not to hit the car in front, you suddenly find that you also don't have as much grip in your front wheels. That lack of drag that had been helping you suddenly becomes a nuisance for you.
Okay, so now I believe the worn tires for David Yunt are starting to really figure into this situation. He's dropping back pretty consistently. Which will be unfortunate for him because he's in 7th place and he potentially could just miss out on getting points. Now Kowalski's right with Juha. Oh man, Juha goes to the inside and takes Boss in the turn, and he goes up one position. Wow, that was a very, very quick pass. It almost looked like Jan Kowalski had to take evasive action just to avoid hitting Juha in that situation.
Jan is seeing right in front of him a Ferrari. I don't know if he's misled to think that it's Michel Janak, but no, it's actually Didier Conjot.
It's Conjot. But Juha is not going to give up on this. He's right with Kowalski. We'll see what happens.
So like we said, they are both in very similar conditions with fresh tires. So it seems that Juha is right now benefiting from the situation that Kowalski had. The one we have been talking about all the race, about the slipstream. You can see how, look at that.
Here he comes.
Uika, the car is there.
Right to the outside. He has the bare minimum track, but of course Kowalski has. Kowalski has the.
Now.
Oh no! No! And David Yunt goes back ahead.
Yeah, now he has to climb back to that position, overtaking.
Here's the replay
again
of this situation. Man, the replay button's getting a workout today. Kowalski had the inside line, obviously, but yeah, Juha just lost the back end under acceleration there. He was very lucky to be able to get back on track without hitting anything.
Yeah, if there's one place where you can lose it without much problem, it's there. So it was really fortunate.
Yeah, we saw a couple people taking agricultural excursions there on lap 1, and to your point, yes, that's one place where you can't get away with it. So Juha now is in a situation where he's going to have to try to overtake David Yunt again. And David Yunt is back into a points-paying position.
And
so
by my calculations, Kowalski is about 50 seconds behind Michel Janak. But Michel Janak, unless I'm wrong, didn't change tires yet. No, he must have had because he's going quick.
Yeah, he did.
He is going quick enough. There is no threat to him from Jan Kowalski right now.
So we're having a replay now of the previous battle, hopefully without the same outcome, between Juha Boss and David Yunt. This is for 6th place, so that's part of the reason why I think these guys are being so aggressive, is because it is for the last points paying positions. So there's a lot at stake. Difference between putting points on the board and not.
Bremen killed his engine.
Oh. Yes, there he is by the side of the road. There's the smoke. Yep, new Pope.
And Janak is about half a minute behind Ludo Tengu, so there is also no threat for Ludo there.
So the closest battle right now is the battle for 6th place between Boss and David Yunt. Oh man, Juha using every inch of the track and more there, coming out of the last turn. Now they're back to the first turn. Goodness. Your point about losing references when you're following a car is a really good one, Alberto, because I would wager that a lot of the incidents we've seen today are caused by exactly that. If not mechanical situations where the brakes are fading, or but it's the combination of when you're following someone, you can't see your marks, and you've lost downforce in combination with the slipstream. So when you arrive at the corner, the car is a very different beast than it is when it's by itself.
Yeah, like we said, missing simply half a yard your brake would here can mean a big difference.
Yeah. So we're
Vodovoz now putting pressure on David Junt. He wants that position back.
He does.
And David, well, because of that incident before, is probably not exactly willing to open the door and put a red carpet for him to walk by.
No, well, David wouldn't want to do that under normal circumstances, but I'm pretty sure in this situation he's even more determined not to. So we now have, I'm looking at the lap board here, and when David Jakes comes by this time,
he goes, his attempt, but no, David will be staying on the inside, yes. And he crosses, look how swiftly he crosses himself to the inside of the next turn. Or Juha was able to catch that position, and that allowed him to stay in front through the S's. It's a nice maneuver. He performs it very well, and he defends really well and very cleanly, I must say. It's hats off to David Junt for his driving there.
I think the other thing that has to be mentioned about David Junt is that the fact that he's been driving all different cars during the season. It's one thing to be driving the same car race after race after race and doing well. It's quite another thing to have good performances race after race with a different car each time. I mean, that's pretty impressive. He's showing himself to not only be quick, but also adaptable.
I once heard a commentary that...
Juha looking at the outside, mainly...
I once heard a commentary from I don't remember who it was, but he said, and I wholeheartedly agree with that, I've been saying it ever since, repeating it, that the mark probably of best champions is those who are able to win with different cars, different teams. I mean, the guys who not just are lucky enough to catch the...
Good opportunity here because David was all over the place on that exit, but of course
look at the situation here. David is on the inside, and now look at that. He crosses to the new inside of this turn, blocks for Vodovoz. Like I was saying, it's not that the guy that is a champion because he was, of course, a great driver, but then again, very lucky to be the perfect team at the perfect moment. For example, like what happened to Sebastian Vettel with Red Bull some years ago in Formula 1. No, the guy who is able to change teams, win with one and win with another, that's the mark of the best champions. I mean, guys like Niki Lauda, for example, guys like Michael Schumacher, those are the guys that really show big quality because of that ability to adapt to another team or even to change and motivate that team, as it was the case with Schumacher and Ferrari after winning with Benetton. He brought Ferrari from the very end of the grid to the absolute top.
It's kind of like a modern version of the Lauda story, in a way.
That's right.
Ferrari was in the basement when Lauda arrived in '74, and because of his efforts with him, they turned it around rather quickly. Juha staying right with, these two, it looks like, are going to be battling right down to the end.
It's amazing what David is doing with the Brabham on worn tires.
Well, let's take a quick look at the lap count, where we've 63 laps completed. This time by David Jakes will have completed 64, which means there will be 5 laps to go in the race, and his gap to Mick Chapman is a whopping 45.78 seconds.
There are no further positions on the top under threat. It's the one from David Junt. John Kowalski has already been able to open a gap and move away so that Vodovoz is able to overtake David Junt and very likely won't have enough time to try to catch him.
If I'm right, if David is able to score points with the Brabham, I believe that this is the first point that will be scored by this team this year. And it won't be scored by a regular driver, which is surprising.
Yeah, by the guest driver.
Yeah, by a guest driver.
Big enough that Brabham also just became free. Because Richard Coxon quit, definitely.
When did this happen?
He's not going to drive anymore, yeah.
Goodness. So apparently the entry list is going to go through a bit of a shuffle after this race is over.
Well, these are very hard cars to drive. They require a lot of dedication, lots of training, lots of concentration, and we are right now about to start on a season that is going to be very fun, in way more easygoing. That is the hard 88 season.
Yes.
It has been looked with lots of anticipation. We have also very soon in May the Indianapolis 500. This will be a hardly contested race, and also a race that awards a hardware trophy, something that the winner will be able to touch, and not just a virtual.
That reminds me, I got to put in the order for that trophy. Thanks for reminding me. And of course, we have started testing Card 88, and that is one other coming up slide that I wanted to show. Round 1 of the 1988 kart series is slated for March 26th. It's the Checker 200 at Phoenix. 200 laps in the blazing sun. It'd be a great way to christen that mod. Really looking forward to that race.
It will be, with the peculiarity of the American racing that is turning left.
Mm-hmm. Well, you do turn right to leave the pit box.
That's right.
Yeah. So David Yuntz actually pulled out a little bit of a gap here to Juha, but he's really having to four-wheel it through some of these turns just to...
I think that he has been able to win the mental game against Juha at least by now. We said he has been able to really block all maneuvers and to block them faultlessly. I mean, the only situation where there was contact between both was because of an error. Oh no, I can't believe that.
What?
David just spun and hit the wall. And he's now behind Juha. I don't know if there is damage in his car. Didn't you see that?
Looking at the replay now, let's see.
Replay, yeah. Accelerating out of the turn.
Oh yes, he did. Oh goodness, yeah, he hit the wall and Juha got by.
You were probably on replay mode.
Well, I'm looking at the replay now, but I was looking at another car at that moment. So this is why it's always good to have two-man commentary teams.
Few laps to the end.
Well,
I'm not sure if there is more damage because that car from David is weaving a lot.
Well, David's going to be kicking himself because there goes his 1 point. Yeah, it's he's going to have a difficult time just getting that car to the finish now. And Juha is looking to score a point for Benetton.
And Gerard Rion is not really very far behind considering the damage. Gerard Rion is going through the finish line right now.
Yes.
So, and that 7th position is under threat right now.
It is.
Yeah, about 5-6 seconds right now. But considering the lap times that David will be able to pull, this will be very, very tight for him. The 129 that was with the accident.
So our leader, David Jakes, is coming through the start-finish area now. 2 laps to go.
Oh, this will be very heavy for David Junt. Because Gerard Rion, with his car in perfect shape, is right now almost 5-6 seconds quicker than him per lap.
And David is clearly driving a lame car. He's doing an impression of Pascal Mikola from earlier in the race. He's having to really fight the car when it's in a straight line.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you can see it in that foreshortening shot.
But 5 seconds, 6 seconds behind him is Gerard Rion.
Rion actually has one car in between himself and David Yunt, but yes, there is a chance.
It's a lap car.
It's a lap car, but it's Chapman. It's a car that's ahead of him, but in the score.
Could be the first clean lap from David after his incident. Was, well, not bad at all considering the circumstances. 125, whereas Gerard Rion does laps in 120.
So here comes David Jakes down to the final turn. He's going to be starting his final lap. It must be mentioned that this is David's home race. And I'm sure this is not only the 5 race wins, if he can complete this one lap, or an achievement, but the fact that he's going to win his home Grand Prix is not lost on him, I'm sure. O Canada will be playing in the Forum once again, as will the Irish national anthem.
But I can tell you that this will be the longest lap ever for Ludo.
That's
because
true.
He's still there in 3rd position, side of a podium.
And I don't think Ludo's scored a podium yet in his HSO career. We'd have to look at the...
No, and doing so in such a difficult series is really something that he can be proud of.
Yes, definitely. I would say Ludo's performance is probably...
No, David Jant is coming through the finish line right now, whereas, oh yes, Gerard Rion has him almost in sight. He just crossed the finish line right now. That must be no more than 2 or 3 seconds between them, but only this lap to catch him.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be probably, even given the closure rate, it might be a bit more than he can mount right now. But David Jakes...
Now, David is lucky because there is traffic hampering Gerard Rion right now. Well, it's obviously no longer a points-paying position, but then again, all the effort that David has put in this race, losing another place like that, it's, of course, very sad for him.
Coming out of the final turn, onto the front straight, and here it is. David Jakes wins his home Grand Prix in the Jordan, his 5th win in a row, 2nd win for the Jordan team after 3 wins for the McLaren team. Great performance. Mick Chapman is now in the chicane. He's actually near Gerard Rion, who is pursuing...
David Jant just rounded the hairpin some seconds ago with Gerard Rion on his tail, but Gerard has still those cars in the middle. He's waving around trying to look for a way to pass, but I don't think he will be able. No, David Jant comes to the finish line
now, yeah,
makes
so
it
he
in 7th position.
finishes. Mick Chapman crosses the line for 2nd place, the second place he scored in a row. Excellent
And
performance
Ludo is
by
coming
him.
right now.
Here comes Ludo, taking his 3rd place, very well deserved. Excellent drive.
And there he goes. I think this will be the happiest.
Oh man, he just got hit by
Okay, yeah.
he just got hit by Del Piccolo, but they just crossed the line.
Well,
so
poor Ludo couldn't do donuts properly, but I
Yeah.
don't think he will complain today.
probably not. Boom. So that's it. We have everybody cross the line. Final order: David Jakes wins, Mick Chapman 2nd, Ludovic Tiango 3rd, Michal Janek finishes 4th in the Ferrari, 5th, and in the points, Jan Kowalski 6th, Juha Bosser Benetton, David Yunt finishes in 7th, Gerard Rion 8th, Gabriel Del Piccolo 9th, 10th was Ray Radal.
User entered your channel.
11th, Brian Janik. 12th, Jonathan Asserklin. 13th, Didier Congeot. And the last car running 10 laps down was Jason Fitch.
We just are joined by Jonathan, speaking of.
Hello, Jonathan.
User entered your channel.
Ludo, my friend, congratulations.
Alberto.
Great drive
Thank
from you. We
Excellent.
have been watching you all the race. Great,
Oh.
great job, Ludo. Very good.
Yeah. Great
Army,
job.
congratulations. I'm really very happy for you, my friend.
Yeah, but I'm happy to say the least. I would like to thank David Jack for every advice he said to me, because the car was perfect, doesn't move.
User joined your channel.
Just a small mistake between when I was in battle with Greg and Mike, and all the race, which was just a delight. The only enemy I have was myself, because I'm cognitively disabled, and sometimes my mind was drifting apart. But I managed to stay focused, stay on the track, and well, third. It's amazing. That's just it.
It is. Great job. And David, we have also here David Junt. We have been following your race. You looked as if you were going to get that sixth position point. It was very unfortunate what happened with Juha Boss. I think you had to brake earlier because of a lapped car, and that Juha didn't see that and hit you on the rear. Did you get damage from that?
I know, but I think like because the car felt strangely light at the rear end, it didn't feel like the same anymore. Especially also that thanks to that my rear tires got even more wear and started slipping more at the back and tried so hard to accelerate out of the turns. So I'm not sure yet, but it feels like the car changed after that punt. I know that you can't see the car, that you probably can't see if there's a lapped car ahead, but that's my fault. And to be honest, I'm with the Brabham and the fuel consumption because I was easing off early and losing less boost to go more at the end because I was really not sure because but I tried a different strategy and then of course I couldn't pit for new super softs and I tried so hard to keep up with them because there's really not much to do. That's why I'm also trying to save fuel because like drive and such and just trying to keep with them is not really what works to get a top 6.
User entered your channel.
So I just tried to up with the pace and also get faster when the tank empties. But to be honest, I feel like there will be I will ask for an investigation about that because this just cost me my position, I guess.
We see that from our position. What we saw, it appeared to be that you had to brake a bit earlier than normally because of a lapped car. Instead of you arrived too late and could not no longer overtake it, and you had to brake early. And I believe the main reason was that Juha was not aware that there was a car in front of you and you had to brake early. But yeah, we will have a look at it.
Well, just want to say, I mean, it happens that somebody brakes late because there's a domino effect from a lapped car that he can't see. But what I felt, I'm not sure if people would agree with me or not, but if you then still punt somebody, then you give the position back. And you didn't try to do that. He
yes,
went
we
off at turn
commented that. We noticed that and we talked about it in the broadcast. Yeah, we also noticed it.
Okay, well, at the moment, it happens. I'm just saying that I'm slightly frustrated, of course. I mean, 7th is great still with this car. With Brabham is not one of the best teams out there, but then losing it at 1 point like that, I just feel a bit frustrated. So we'll see what I will do or not. But well, I can in the end say 7th is still a great result. Got all top 10s this season, so it was otherwise a good evening. So yeah, liked it.
In any case, David, there are a whole bunch of cars that just became free. So better go to the forum and start checking because you could go there. You could get eventually a good ride there.
Oh dear! Don't tempt me! Don't tempt me! It just have me all over them. But yeah, I'll take a look. But to be honest, it was still otherwise a very enjoyable race.
He's going
to the max, and that was great.
David, don't break a leg getting to the forum because you've got 24 hours to wait on those cars. You're a waiting list driver, so you can't get a crack at them immediately. By my count, there's going to be 3 cars available right now. So it's going to get pretty active in the entry list in a minute here.
Yeah, right. I was just being reminded today already because of the car championship. David, it's not the first serve. It's gonna take a few days, and I overread that one. Yeah, my bad. But still, it was a great race. From my perspective, I was very surprised when Greg retired. I was like, what? He retires? He's gonna go to podium, and then he retired from the race. So I felt quite surprised in the end that I even was actually close to the points. I felt like I was too far back, and then suddenly, out of all people, Gregoire is gone, and yeah, surprised to say the least.
Well, I see Greg Richard. He said he had some problem on the car. His tire was smoking, and the car was very difficult. Every time he hit the accelerator,
Yeah,
I
Greg,
see the
Greg had
rear.
hit the wall repeatedly. He was having to push very hard because with with that car being able to keep up with the quicker ones, he had to do miracles. It was impossible. I mean, he hit the wall several times. He pushed it, and the car was deteriorating. In the end, of course, happened that he hit it harder and he lost everything there.
Well, with a damaged car, he did some great job because it was very, very difficult to follow.
That's right. We are not discovering Greg Wasson today.
Not at all, but me, I am. I've never been in a race with Greg.
This is what HSO is all about. I mean, we try to do that. I mean, to balance it. It's always impossible, of course, and with Formula One, it's very hard. And then there's the evolution of the cars. But that's exactly the idea that the drivers that are not as quick can compete with the quicker ones, and everyone can have some fun. The assignment of cars.
Should have some fun. For the second place battle we had with Greg, me, and Mike, it should be something very, very funny to see. Well, not funny, entertaining, because that was a very, very difficult moment for me in the race, because there was Greg in front, Mike was closing very, very fast at the rear. Oh, my God. That's a race to be remembered, but Montreal has always been a lucky charm for me. It's nearly the only race I ever score points in Formula One. That's 3 times now. That's my first podium since an eternity. Oh, my God. I will realize tomorrow for sure, but when I cross the line, I hope my neighbors won't mind, but I scream like hell. It was fantastic.
Okay, well, do we have any other reactions from the drivers?
The race was very long, very difficult, very frustrating. I will try to do better next time. At least I made the grid, which I'm really happy about.
Well, before we sign off, let's remind everybody what's coming up at HSO one more time. Next week we have the Pace Petroleum 6 Hours, second round of the World Endurance Championship. Then the following Sunday, the Mexican Grand Prix. And then the first race of the Kart Championship, the Checker 200 on the 26th of March. So a lot of exciting stuff coming up. Race is over, and I want to thank Alberto Ibañez for his expert color commentary, and thanks to all of our competitors for stopping in the booth. We'll see you guys hopefully in the next race, Mexico City. So for everybody else, this is Jason White saying so long from Montreal.